let's talk about another big change, which is another disruption, which is about energy and the energy shift. This idea of a no fuel station. We're starting to see that bandied around the industry. We've got Tesla thinking about doing convenience stores. We hear. What's your take on that, Klaas? Is it a big threat or is it an opportunity?
Well, I think it's a reality. I think electric vehicles are rising, and I think it's fundamentally because of customers. These cars are great to drive. The acceleration is fantastic. Of course, there's no emission on the location itself. They're very quiet. So it's a customer-driven innovation. So we think it's happening fast, and it will be big. The question is how fast and how big. I mean, some of the things we've looked at is in probably the most optimistic scenario for electric, you probably reach about 400 million cars in about 2035. At the moment we have 700 million cars in the world, of which a few million are electric. By that time frame there will be 2 billion cars in our view. So therefore petrol and diesel is still growing overall, and not in some of the big cities, not in the European markets maybe, but globally emerging markets. So in our game it's end. So we've just made an investment in electric charging in Europe, 30,000 plug points. We need to be part of that revolution. We want our stations to be places where you do recharge. And the only way we're going to be attractive is if you want to spend 20 minutes at that location. Is there something to do? Is there good coffee, good food? And so convenience is becoming even more important in an EV world.
I think in that sense we've actually prepared, the industry has prepared for this because they put a lot of focus on food service for many years. And I think that is key. And I'm from the market where you probably have the biggest penetration on electric vehicles, and all the players is focusing on food. So obviously that's the reason to stop.
But generally we would talk about the fact that kind of in our business customers are maybe filling their car once a week or once a fortnight, but hopefully they're coming in every second day for the coffee, the sandwich, the pastry. So you need good parking, you need clean toilets, you need that whole sort of food service environment, and also at good value. We find customers repeat customers like good value, and you have to be able to compete with the other international brands out there and at that quality level. Customers won't accept an inferior sort of burnt product and expect to pay a high price. It just won't happen. So I think we've all upped our game, and I think we just need to continuously improve.
You probably need the chargers, but the way people charge their car is like you charge your mobile phone. So it's during nighttime. So during the day you don't need to charge unless you're doing.
Maybe, right? Because maybe you can charge at home, you can charge at work, or on the move. And the on the move piece, that's going to be fascinating. Can we as an industry be part of that? And just one of the sound bites here at one of the breakout sessions was if you have a fast charger that is 400 kilowatt, which is enough to run a whole supermarket. Our service stations are not supermarkets, so power becomes a constraint. But this is critical for us if we solve that, if we can be that on-the-move place where you can recharge, then we're still in the game.
And you bring convenience again, fast.
But it's not a given. If we don't invest, if we're not ready, then people will charge at home or on the or at the destination.
And as we change now Tesla have always said the majority, 80% of the charging will be done at home, and then the rest will be done on the way or at work. But maybe that was true for the Model S, where it's a £90,000, $70,000, $120,000 car, and those owners, and just looking at the UK market, those owners will have somewhere to charge their car at home. But as you get into cheaper electric vehicles, almost half of UK households haven't got somewhere to charge on site. So as you go into smaller cars, that's not going to be the case. And I think, would you agree with that? There's going to be a bigger opportunity as we get into that type of vehicle.
Yeah, a lot of your customers are also the ones that have their office in their car. It's carpenters, it's salesmen, people, and so on. So, and they would obviously need it.
But it's what are we prepared for this future? Are we shaping it? And that's the key challenge for us as a company, us as an industry. How do we remain relevant? So, and this is to the point of the future is reasonably clear the next 5 years. Food service, the big growth as we discussed about, but how do we stay relevant, especially the integrated business model of fuel and non-fuel. Our strategy, as we've just publicly announced, is 50-50. So for an oil company to make half of the margin on convenience retail. That raised some eyebrows internally, like, wow, really? But we have to. And I think electric vehicle charging will be a catalyst that will make that happen.
Are we ready for the future, Victor?
I think so. I think we're the least impacted. If you look at publicly listed convenience store multiples, they're among the highest of any category. Ours is very high, but it's lower than Amazon's.
Yeah.
But so I think we are. I think the future, EV aside, is more opportunity than threat technology-wise for convenience.
I think, Dan, we're putting in hydrogen into one of our sites in Hempstead in New York. It'll be the first hydrogen dispensing facility in the state of New York, and I think that's another alternative product that is big in Europe as well. And while they're expensive, I think it's good to have those locations. So we would see it embrace change, learn about it, and be at the forefront of it, and be involved with that change. And I think that's how we see it, and we're ready for the future.
Well, that's it from the NACS show. I'd like to thank my guests, Klaus Mantel at Shell, Joe Barrett at Applegreen, Victor Paterno at 7-Eleven, and Matt Danielson at Liquid Barcodes. I'm Dan Munford. Thanks for watching.